My dad basically dropped the hammer and gave me this ultimatum. He said, A, you can go and take this insurance job. B, you can go to the military. Or C, you're out on your butt and I'm not gonna help you with anything else anymore. My name is Tyler Michel. Hear my story. So growing up, I grew up in church, and I grew up a lot just around that kind of culture. My dad was a youth pastor, but he was also a really good musician. And so my dad has been in band since I was a kid. I would actually go down during their band rehearsals and fall asleep next to the kick drum while they would play. And so I just had this rhythm ingrained into me as a young child. And so growing up, my dad raised me on 80s hair metal. So like I know Def Leppard and Poison and Rad and Queensryche and all these different bands that really was a cool part of my life that I knew. Like at 4 years old, some adult would ask me, hey, what's your favorite band? And I would go, Def Leppard. Like, they loved that. As a pastor's kid, it was different because I really associated a lot of my faith and a lot of just kind of how I came to Jesus and how I talked to him through how my parents were. I really based a lot of what I did and what I said off of what my father would say in his sermons and stuff like that. So I figured out that I was worshiping at my dad's altar, and it was more me, my dad, and Jesus rather than me and Jesus. And so I kind of figured out that I have to build my own altar, and this has to be me and him, you know. And that was kind of where I had to find my identity. I went through this phase where I really didn't understand who I was. I didn't really understand where I wanted to go. You know, I went on tour with the band. I did that for a little while. I tried college, and I totally bombed college. And then, you know, I found myself wrapped up in this relationship with this girl, and that created so much animosity between my mom and myself, and as well as my father, and really took a turn for the worse. You know, I started drinking with friends. I started doing all the things that you know, normal kids would have done in high school. I did after the fact. And I got into this sexual relationship with this girl, but at the same time, I was putting up this facade of still playing in church, but then behind closed doors, I was with this girl doing things that I shouldn't be doing, and just putting up this lie, you know. And so that really put a tie, or really chokeholded me into being somebody that I wasn't. There was a moment where a friend of mine came into town who is, he works in youth ministry, and you know, and youth ministry has always been something that I've thought about and kind of considered, but never really like dug into. And so he came into town, and he was like, man, he's telling me all these amazing stories of just, you know, life redemption and these different things, and I just felt like this really cool sense of joy coming from him, you know, where he was really diving into what God had for him. And I remember saying to him, I was like, man, that's so cool. I'd love to do something like that. The night that I met up with him, we went out to my car, and I was like, guys, my car's making some weird noises. I don't know if it's gonna last like another 2 weeks. Literally the next day, my car breaks down on my way to my girlfriend's house. And that's when just everything hit the fan. At that point, I had no car. I had maybe $50 in my bank account. The tow truck took the majority of that. I was in a dead-end job. I didn't know where I was gonna go. I didn't know what I wanted to do. I didn't, you know, I was really finding a lot of my identity in my girlfriend and my friends and my people. So my dad basically dropped the hammer and gave me this ultimatum. He said, A, you can go and take this insurance job. B, you can go to the military. Or C, you're out on your butt and I'm not gonna help you with anything else anymore. At the time, I was super angry with my dad, but I kind of realized he lent me his car. You know, he showed me a lot of grace in that, which was super awesome, and I love my dad for that now. So I took my dad's car, drove out here, ended up going through the courses and going through getting ready for this job that I was going to do, and I actually started to feel really excited about it. And I woke up one morning, and I get a text from my cousin Brittany, and she says, hey, you know, a lot of the spots are filled and you're probably not going to get a job for another 6 months. So it was in that point where I was super angry with God, and I was like, I thought this was what you wanted me to do. Like, I thought this was something that, you brought me out here for this. Like, what are you doing? Once I lost that job and started to talk to my cousin just about my story and what was going on, he invited me to become an intern at a church just north of Atlanta. And my life has been changed ever since. And now I'm extremely thankful, and I'm much more personable with him now. And I talk to him a lot more, not in anger so much anymore. It's more of thankfulness, that I see now this adventure that has happened, and this craziness that he has purposefully drugged me through, just to get on the other side better and more happy and just in bliss and constant love with Jesus. If you're going through something and you think that it's just the end of the world and you've had a hold of something and then it was just ripped out from under you, I know what that's like, and I've been through that, and all I can say is it will pass, and it is something that is it's gonna suck in the time, but you're gonna step out of it a whole new person, and it's gonna be amazing.